Before I say anything motivational, let me just be real. Look, I'm 23, I don't have everything figured out, and at 20, my life flipped upside down. I had a kid, and overnight, everything changed. There was no figuring out slowly, there was no let me explore. It was responsibility immediately. In 1 year, I moved twice. At one point, I moved back to my mom's house with my BM and my kid. If you ever had to move backwards in life when you thought you were moving forward, you know how that shit feels. That shit really messes with your pride, makes you question yourself, makes you feel behind. Now, fast forward, we moved out, we're stable, we live in a good area in the city, bills get paid on time, there's food in the fridge, we're not struggling the way we were. Let me tell you something, nobody says, enough. Even when you're stable in your 20s, it's still hard, it's still confusing, it's still overwhelming sometimes. And that's what I wanted to talk about because I think a lot of people in their 20s feel lost, but they think they're the ones, When I was 20, yeah, my kid, I felt like life sped up and I was behind at the same time. Everybody else is traveling, partying, building careers, and I was learning how to be a father, trying to figure out rent, trying to figure out responsibility, trying to figure out myself. And here's the truth. Your 20s don't go how you plan, bro, for almost nobody. Like, some people get ahead early, whatever. Some people get struggle early. Some people have kids. Some people switch careers 3 times. Some people move back home. Some people started businesses, that fail. That's not failure, though. At the end of the day, it's just life. But social media doesn't show the middle, the in between. It shows the wins, shows the highlights. It doesn't show moving back in your mom's house. It doesn't show the stress of not knowing how everything's going to work out. It doesn't show the nights you were up thinking, am I doing enough? And here's what I realized at 23: being lost doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're building up under pressure. And pressure either sharpens you or it convinces you you're not enough. There were moments where I felt like I messed up my timeline. Like I skipped steps. Like I didn't get to have a normal early 20s. But what is normal? Because, here's what I gained. I gained responsibility, perspective, urgency. I had to grow up faster. And yeah, that comes with stress, but it also builds character. Most people don't develop until later. And even now, being stable doesn't mean easy. This economy is different, bro. Like, terrible. Rent is different, groceries different, everything costs more. You could do everything right and shit still feel tight. But it don't mean you're behind. It just means the world is expensive right now. Let's normalize that. If you're 23 and you don't own a house, that's normal. If you're 25 and still figuring out your career, that's normal. If you're 27 and feel like you took the wrong path, bro, that's normal. What's not normal though is pretending like everything is smooth. Like here's something I learned the hard way. Stability, my fault. Stability is a win. Peace is a win. Bills paid on time is a win. Not being in chaos anymore is a win. Like we compare ourselves to millionaires online and forget that basic stability used to be the goal. Now it feels like it's not enough, but it is. Especially in your 20s. Here's the part I really want you to hear. You're not supposed to have everything figured out right now. You're supposed to be building. You're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to mess up. You're supposed to have some fuck ups. You're supposed to pivot. Your 20s is not a final. You're not. It's not your final form. These are your foundation years, yo. And some foundations take longer to pour. You know, some crack. Some crack and need repair. Some are built under pressure. But that would mean the building won't stand up. If anything, go through ups and downs early makes you harder to shake later. On some real shit. And I'm still figuring this shit out too. I'm still learning, still adjusting, still growing. But I ain't the same 20-year-old who panicked moving back home, though. I'm stronger, more focused, more aware. If you're in the middle right now, not where you want to be, not where you thought you'd be, just know this: you're not late. You're early in a long game, and the people who survive in their 20s with resilience, they're dangerous in their 30s, yo. For real, like, just stop comparing, start building, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if nobody sees it yet, because being lost at 23 isn't failure. It's growth without the spotlight, and that's still growth. If you're in your 20s right now and feel like you're figuring it out as you go, comment your age. Let's see how many of us really are in the middle together. This isn't a highlight reel. This is real life. And real life takes time. This is Benz, and I'm out. Peace.